Alright, I'm Brian Rayos. I got 16th place at San Diego Regionals last week. I was playing the deck just for fun. I didn't expect to do good at all, but I just kept winning and winning, and I lost. I was X1 up until the last round of the Swiss, and I ended up losing last round just to like a really nasty misplay I did. But it was alright. Like I said, I was just there for fun, and this deck like overperformed. But I'm really happy I played it, because usually I've been playing Trickstar for like the longest time, but I got to play a deck that was just a fun deck to play, and I did surprisingly really well with it. And but yeah, here's the list. So I played 60 card Dracos with so I played 3 Inspector Border and 3 Amano. So in 40 card Dracos, you can't really play like both of these because they like conflict, and you obviously can't play too many monsters in your deck. But in 60 card Dracos, you always want to open one of these because you know these cards are nuts against hand traps. And then Border in particular, I think this card's really good because it stops a lot of decks. Like it stops Trickstar, it stops the 60 card decks, while Amano is just really good against like Pendulum and just hand traps in general. And it's just you always want to see one of these. So if you open one of these, you should be really in a good position for the game. So I played 6 of those cards. And then for the Draco stuff, I played 3 Masterpiece, 3 of like the best card in the deck. It's 3 Dreeth. Like the main reason I wanted to play this deck is because I could play 3 of these in the deck. You can't really play this card in 40 card Dracos because you're also playing like a mono, and you can't play that many monsters in your deck, right? But in 60 cards, I just think this card is so good because this card replaces itself. It's like a 1-card combo, because if they out this card, then you can summon any Draco from the deck. Like let's say you need some defense, you can summon a Masterpiece in defense, or but the majority of the times what you do is if they out this, you just summon Phoenix from the deck, because this combos with Diagram. If it gets popped, you get to search any of your Dracos. And then this card is also nuts in the mirror match because your other Dracos can't be targeted by effects or destroyed by effects. So if you happen to get 2 of these on the field, it's pretty easy with like return. One of these dies, you special another one, and then you return this back. Then you create a soft lock against your opponent, and they can't really beat it because these have 31 defense or with Diagram, and if it's the mirror, they have like 34 defense. So it's super good. But I really like this card a lot. I think this card's nuts. And then I played the standard 3 Maiden and 1 Ignis just to round out the Dracos. I played like all the Dracos I could just because it's 60 cards and you need to see a Draco to play the game, you know. That's it for the monsters. No hand traps because I'm playing Demise, you know. Spells, 3 Diagram, 3 Terraforming, pretty standard. 3 Demise, like this card should be banned. 3 Heritage, 3 Disciples, 3 Duality, 3 Desires, and then so yeah, those are like all the 3 ofs. These cards are pretty standard. And then my last 2 spells, 2 1-ofs, just Stormforth and Raigeki. I wouldn't play these in like 40 cards just because I don't think these cards are that good, but in 60 cards, I don't know, I feel like these cards are okay to run. Specifically because these cards are good against the mirror match since they're always distributing Masterpiece with Trap Monster. So I think these cards are good, and then also like going second, these cards are just nuts. That's it for the spells. And for the traps, the main reason why I like this deck, you can play like the best traps in the game, and you don't have to limit yourself. Because on like 40 card Draco, you kind of have to limit yourself what traps you play because you don't have that much room for cards in your deck. But with this 60 card deck, I got to play 3 of like every power trap that I could. But for the 1-ofs, I just played 1 Imperial Order, Skill Drain, Judgment, Macro. This card actually won me some games. This card's really, really good, especially in the mirror match. But I would like to play this in 40 cards, but I just can't find the space. But this card's really good. And then obviously the 1 of Return, because it's Return. And then played 3 Apocalypse, standard. And then so for the Floodgates, like the best cards in the deck are 3 Anti-Spell, 3 Unending, 3 Erupt, and 3 Rivalry. So these 12 cards right here, these cards are like free wins in your deck. Like at a regionals, a lot of people don't know how to play around Floodgates. So if you hit them usually with any one of these, then they just lose because they just won't know how to play around it, and you'll just beat them. And this card in particular, I think is really good this format. The only deck it's not very good against is the mirror match, but you just set it out for like better cards in the side deck. But I think this card is so good. If you're able to end your first turn with this set and border on field, then your opponent can't out this. So I just really liked that I was able to play cards in my deck that gave me free wins. Like at a regionals, I think free wins are super important. At a YCS, obviously, it's a big difference. And 60 cards, you need like consistency over 11 or 12 rounds. But at a regionals, like it's a different story. You know, it's a different environment, and free wins at a regionals are like super important, especially if you're gonna be playing like 9 rounds on one day. You know, so I was really happy with these cards. And like I said, I had a lot of fun with the deck. And then no extra deck, obviously, because I'm playing Erupt. And then for the side deck, I pretty much just side decked cards like for the mirror match, since my main deck has a lot of bad cards against the mirror match, like Erupt, Rivalry, Border, like bad cards. So I wanted to make my side deck as best against the mirror match as possible. So I did 2 Gamecios, 3 Zaphions, 3 Cosmic, 2 Scolding, 3 Iron Wall. These were all cards for the mirror match. I know this card kind of like, it's weird because it kind of hurts you, you know, you can't use Masterpiece. But this card is just so I wouldn't lose to evenly matched. And this card's also really good because I played against Infernoid, another 60 card deck, and I played 2 Trick Stars. And this card like just auto win against those type of decks. And then Scolding is like one of the best trap cards in just the game, I think. This card's so good. And then since almost all of my traps are floodgates, I'm able to flip up my floodgates during the semi phase and then hit them with Scolding whenever they try to do something. So I think this card's really, really good. And then the last 3 cards, 3, 6, 9, yeah, the last 3 cards, like, I actually only played 2 Cosmic. The last 3 cards I played were just 3 Sphere mode. I usually only play 2 like in 40 card decks, but since it's a 60 card deck, you want to see these cards. And I think that, you know, besides against the Pendulum FTK deck, which wasn't really like popular until after the YCS last weekend, this card's really good against Pendulum as well as World Chalice. And then just any of those decks where they end up with like big unbreakable boards, you just break it with this and then you're free to continue your turn. But yeah, that's the deck. I had a lot of fun playing the deck. It's like, I just think this deck is super fun because it's like 60 cards, right? And you're playing like the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh in your deck, and I just think that's super cool. I don't think the deck's that good, even though like I won a lot, but it's fun, and I think that's a really important part of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, is just having fun. But yeah, that was my deck. Thanks.